Welcome to the meeting, everyone. Roll call of school board members, all are present. So we can go right into 4.0 communication reports. Start with an enrollment update.
If you see the document attached, Nancy attached, for the most part, overall, down 6 kids from a month ago. I don't know if you want me to go through grade for the most part. And again, this is not picking. We've lost some at the high school. I'm not saying necessarily, it's just numbers are getting solid. Have gained some at the elementary and overall though, down 6 kids. I don't know if there's questions or if you want to know grade by grade where we're at or, but overall we're definitely up from projections. And so that's a good thing. Class size at the lower are, where they've been. They're a little less than where we started, in some things, but I should say a little less. They're evening out. A few kids have left, but they're still up, so kindergarten's up the highest. I mean, it's up 6 kids. But I met with Chad this morning or where we're at and we're going, so any questions on that? You want me to just keep rolling? Carla's not here. She has her last cross country meet. And so, if you look at I don't know if there's any questions, if you've looked at the treasurer's report, I don't have, I guess, cash flows. I mean, we're watching, but it is what it is. What I would point out on if you're looking through, and you're looking at the one thing that popped out at me was on the supplies. It looks like we're 54%. Well, the reason that's out of whack is that's actually where the scoreboard got put into. I mean, whether it should be supplies, equipment, whatever, that throws it off. If you take that out, we're roughly 33 or 34%, I think, if I typed it in. So, I mean, other than that, we're rolling. As I think I've given you an update, we've been meeting Wednesdays, working through budget stuff, things are moving, but overall, I feel very good with, Carla's knowledge and we're working through things, finding answers to certain things, but it's a process. There's a lot of lines when we're, working through. Audit, I think, is scheduled to be here the first meeting in November. And so, it's really quiet. I don't know if that's a good thing or bad. I think it's a good thing, but typically about this time we'll start getting some heads up. Here's what it's looking like, but I don't think we've heard a peep. So any questions on?
Any questions?
Nope. Okay, throwing some things out on my end, and just because I'm not quite sure, MSBA. I don't know how the district, if people, their convention, I should say, in January, sometime here very shortly, it's going to open up. And I know, like, housing wise, you want to get in, if you have a bunch that go, because I'll be honest, I snoozed last year and we didn't get into the housing. So I don't know if a bunch go, no one goes. Obviously, we have some new members that will be coming on. We'll try and, account for. So I'm just asking for a little guidance. I don't need answers now. If anyone knows for sure they're going or for sure not going, we won't, reserve.
Dates coming.
It's the 17th and 18th, I think. Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah, January or 16th and 17th. I think I put 17th and 18th in my email. But it's the 16th and 17th, if I recall. I was a day off when I kind of threw it out in that report or whatever. So just think about it. And like I say, if you for sure a yes or a no, because again, I don't want to mislead or, but otherwise we'll kind of try getting that when it comes out. I will give a heads up. I was asked to participate in a roundtable down there. And so I will, participate. It has to do with solar. We did a Solar for Schools grant. In fact, they broke ground here in the falls recently here. So the guy from the state just wanted someone to help and kind of give a school's perspective. Transportation committee, we haven't met. I believe it's Brandon, Amanda, and Lynn. I met with the mechanic and Cody and Carla and I met last week. They're putting together, I'm going to call it an inventory list and kind of a ranking. And the only reason I shouldn't say the only reason, I don't think we did a bus this year, but they're saying minimum 9 months out. And so once they get a list and kind of the ranking and stuff, I'd like to meet and see what our thoughts are, where we're at, because if we're gonna do something there, we probably got to get kind of the commitment in sooner rather than later. Meet and confer also, I reached out to the union, and they have a new, person kind of chairing that. They were actually meeting tonight, so I'm gonna get some dates. I just asked, could we get them on? You know, so that they're set and, we'll go from there. Did have my first, they called safety committee meeting, or I should say we did with the, East Grand Forks Education Association, and they kind of got me up to speed on, you know, what that group's looking for, and that's as far as we've gotten. And I think, had you attended those? The teacher, I wasn't aware, because it's not technically a board committee type deal.
We do have,
But is, that's not the same as the teacher, because I thought they said maybe a man. Okay, I didn't include you. If you want, I apologize, because like I said, I invited admin, they invited the union, and someone had said they thought you were part of it. In negotiations.
yep,
Yep. Okay. Okay. Someone wanted to, yeah, so, so anyway, that's going, where are we at? I just wanted to mention Nancy, did our first para, as we hire people now legislatively, we have to do some training before they start. Obviously, we did that before school, but had the first run today with, a new person, and it's off and running. I will say that's one of the things I believe the legislature did good, is requiring some training instead of just getting people in and throwing them to the wolves, so to speak. Same with the ongoing training. Yeah, you know, this highly qualified deal that Sreya is working on immensely with them, it is done right. I mean, we do need people, trained and educated, and so, anyway, just letting you know that's ongoing and going. I set a survey draft on the table. We would appreciate the administrative group has looked at it. The district leadership group had given some, you know, ideas and stuff on it. So that's what we're looking at. We have 3 different versions. They're all the same, so to speak, but like the one for students does not, you know, it's student specific. I feel safe at school, you know, you know, feel my needs are being met. It's just worded differently. And the same with it asks for, instead of, who they are, it asks for their grade. Are you in 9-12? Are you in 6-8? And then we decided to go down to 5th grade. So we know what the age level, the responses are coming from. The same with the staff one. It's just worded differently. You know, do you feel safe at school? Do you, feel respected? Whatever, all the, you know, it's just, that's the 3 different, and the same thing there. We ask, are you a teacher? Are you a para? There's 4 groups. Are you know, we didn't do every single, you know, bus driver, you know, we just group people. So, open to conversation. And that, like I say, that's not all my, desire. Yeah, you know, it's what the groups have kind of, we think this will give us what we need. Anything, you know, my biggest fear is we don't ask something we want, and then, you know, to go back doesn't work very well. So again, there's some color differing, so you can tell the survey's different. And then we'll, like I say, once kind of, if you want to look at it, whatever, I would say by the next board meeting, like a nod, and then we're going to figure out how to push them out. Obviously, electronically is one way, but we want paper available if someone wants, and this and that. So, and the last thing I was going to mention is I don't plan on doing a board update this week. I'm going to take Friday off with teachers and a good chunk of staff being out, and with the board meeting today, I just thought I would throw it at you unless something, you know, major happens that I want you in the loop of. I think that's where I'm at. Questions?
questions? No, I think the surveys looks good from what I've looked over quickly. I mean, hindsight's always gonna be 20/20. There's always gonna be something you could miss, but I think it's a good start. All right. Moving on to principals. Who shall we start with? How about the pre-K? Yeah. I always go youngest.
All
All right, good evening. So pre-K continues to have a waiting list of 3 for our 4-year-old program and 2 for our 3-year-old program. There's a possibility a slot opened up to move someone into a 4-year-old program, but so we're always working on that and always putting kids on the waiting list so that we can get a hold of them when we need them. Teachers in pre-K are couple months now deep into letters training for the READ Act. And so that's going well. They're 2 times a month that they're working on that. They're getting together and working as a team, and we have a big training that comes up as a group later on before Christmas break. So we're looking forward to that. But the ongoing training is good training, and they're excited about the letters curriculum and what it's going to do for us. We recently also purchased for the preschool program the Haggerty phonics part as a supplement to letters and to the curriculum we're already using. So everyone has that online version, and we're going to use it for a couple weeks. And then on the 4th, we have a video training with the company. So everyone else is using it, or not everyone, New Heights is using it as well. So it's nice to be a part of that. And they have an early childhood. They have a 3-year-old portion and a 4-year-old portion, so it fits right in with what we're doing, and get the verbiage in with that. And teachers are excited and looking forward to it. So
What does Haggerty do up above and beyond letters?
so it breaks word sounds down in phonics. It's basically the beginning phonics, so you know what sounds are, and it has hand motions that go with it. So yeah.
Is letters literally just letters? Like just
No,
curious.
it is also, it is not just letters, it is phonics as well, and the sun blending and things like that.
Okay.
So
Are the paras doing the same training as the teachers?
they will do the Haggerty training with us. The rep from the Haggerty company suggested that we bring in some people and do the training with them because they're part of that ongoing classroom experience. And as far as letters training, no, that is just licensed staff.
Okay.
And that's just that goes with the READ Act. So they're phase 1 of that.
Well, in phase 2, and it's, principals can correct me if I'm wrong, the paras are going to get something, but it's still in development of exactly what, whether it's letters, whether it's OLA, whatever, paras are going to have something, but like anything else, the plane's being built as we're flying. You know, it's not there, and that's a year out yet.
So their training isn't in the READ Act stuff yet?
They're going to be in phase 2 of the READ Act stuff, and like say, it's not laid out exactly what it is yet. Sounds bad, but it isn't.
Okay.
Under construction.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's rolling along nicely this year. Thank you.
Thanks.
I'm gonna leave that
Chad?
on.
Chad's gone, so Melissa.
Good evening. So we've got a lot of fun things that are happening out at South Point. Our 5th grade ambassador program is in full swing. They've been doing a lot of leadership activities throughout our school, working with the preschool classes that we have in the morning, and then just doing jobs throughout the day, primarily in the morning to get the day started. And so that has been really cool to see, as well as our safety patrol has been in full swing as well. Just talking a little bit about Safe Kids. Tina's here tonight to speak a little more extensive on that, but I just wanted to say a huge thank you to Safe Kids because they actually educated all of our students. They took each class down to the Hawk Crosswalk this last Monday. So that crosswalk, just teaching the students on how to use it correct, and just going over the guidelines for that. So each student at South Point has been trained on how to use that crosswalk properly. And so a big thank you to them for that. Also, we're seeking, and again, Tina's going to elaborate a little more on this, but we are seeking volunteers who would like to be a crossing guard at that intersection there of Bigland and 13th, just because it is, if you use that particular intersection, you know that it is just Not sure if people truly understand how to use that crosswalk. There's a lot of misunderstanding of if you're in the vehicle, if you should go or not, depending on the light and then the students and the timing. But I know Tina's going to elaborate more. So we are looking for a few crossing guards, as so that it maybe wouldn't be such a commitment of, you know, all week. Maybe it could be once a week or once every 2 weeks if we could get enough volunteers. We are also seeking volunteers for anyone who would be interested in assisting with lunch supervision. We've already had one parent sign up for that, and so we're looking forward to having that parent start tomorrow. We do go through a process of having a background check and going through all those legalities. So if anyone's interested, just reach out to myself out at South Point, and we're happy to get you going with that. We have already completed one night of conferences. I know New Heights was having their first one tonight. This is something that we have done different with the 2 elementaries. Since I've been here, I think we've always held them all of our conferences on the same night. And so this year, with looking at the calendar, we have South Point had their first one last Thursday night, and then we will complete our conferences Tuesday and Wednesday morning, where New Heights is tonight, tomorrow night, and then Wednesday morning. In February, we will swap, so New Heights will get that prior week of a night of conferences. So what's nice about that is that it's really supporting our staff who have students who have that night off and can accommodate if they have students at the other building, and for families. If they, you know, have students at both, then it's going to be up to them if they want to still keep it all on one night or have it split. So I think it's going over very well with staff and families. Teachers are just busy working on completing their OLA training and their PLCs. That's what we're working on in our early Wednesdays, and it's greatly appreciated because the OLA training is very intense. And so having that time set aside has been greatly appreciated, having that dedicated time. So yeah, that's what we're kind of up to out at South Point. Any questions? All right, thank you.
Hi, all right, let's hear about our middle schoolers. Had a really great fall, so wrapped up lots of activities. Still a couple events going on. We still have some swimming going on. We have some cross country going on, but our girls tennis and soccer, still our girls soccer varsity players are competing. And we do have some junior high girls that participate in that, so that's great. Our football, volleyball, just really lots of activities. Wanting to share that our pop singers and our jazz band, they are kicking off and they're rolling and ready. Their first performance will be at our Veterans Day program, but our numbers and music overall are exceptional. Jazz band, pop singers, but even our choirs and our bands. We have lots of kids that are choosing to be in the arts. Our student council numbers are up for students too. And really what we are doing is encouraging students to participate, because we know that research says, and we just know observation says, that when kids are busy, they are involved, they're more productive and they're more focused. And when those things happen, then there's really positive results. And I would say overall, our start to the school year has been really good. Really good. Some interesting things because it's middle school, but always very good too. Coming up, we have robotics starting even next week for our 6th and 7th graders. Our musical is going to start to kick off. They'll announce that in not too long, and then we'll have basketball and wrestling. And then our community events, we have lots of students that participate in hockey and figure skating too. So anything that students can be a part of, we really, really want them to be a part of those events. Today, Indigenous Peoples Day, we had Mayor Gander come to CMS. Last year, on this day, there was a council meeting and he had shared a message on Indigenous peoples and some history, and so invited him to come today to share that message with all of our students and our staff. That was well received. We have some fun events coming up with Halloween. Middle schoolers get to dress in costumes, and we adjust our schedule a little bit so we can have a little bit of fun and practice what a dance looks like and feels like, and they get to wear their costumes. So we'll talk with our students about that. We are going to have pumpkin decorating this year as well. So some fun things that middle schoolers, whether they believe it or not, they're fun. And so we want them to be a part of it. Our conferences are coming up on the 23rd and the 30th. We do Wednesday conferences, 3:30 to 6:30, and they're open house style for all of our grade levels. Sixth grade is choosing to have their conferences in the cafeteria this year. We'll have our book fair that evening, or those evenings, one of the evenings. And then our seventh and eighth grade teachers will be in their classrooms. So they're open house style for both of the evenings that we have. And I would just second what Melissa had shared about our PLC and our MTSS time on our Wednesdays. We are also doing some tier 1 curriculum mapping work, and Mr. Laura and I have been talking to some outside experts from Northwest Service Cooperative and Compass, and asking for some science, social studies, English language arts, and some math kind of consults, experts to come in and make sure that the work that we are doing is focused and connected to the standards that we know that we need to make sure our students have access and exposure and mastery of. So good things going on. Happy to report a positive start to the year. Questions?
I would just throw out, and I mentioned this to Jill on Friday, a thank you to staff. And it's just one example. They had the Itasca event. And it takes not only planning, but it takes staff that are willing to, the easy thing is to stay in the classroom, just do your normal thing. But the kids have a great time, and that's just one example. There's stuff going on in every building, and so I would thank staff and thank leadership for giving our students opportunities.
I'll add another exciting thing. So every year our eighth graders study the Diary of Anne Frank, and there's a project that Mr. Green does with that. This year, the Fire Hall Theater has the Diary of Anne Frank play. And so they're doing a special performance, daytime performance for us next Tuesday. So that typically is a different time of the year, but we knew that this was coming, so they shifted some things around and kind of reset. So when those opportunities are out in our community, I think it's especially important to get our students out and to see what that looks like. It's a great screenplay. It's a great thing to watch as a movie, but there's something about it being performed right in front of you that really, I think, helps our students to make greater connections. So yeah, excited for that, and pleased that our staff look for those kinds of opportunities and are flexible when they come their way too. So thank you.
Hello, everybody. So lots of stuff going on at the high school as well, obviously. We had our homecoming festivities a week and ended on the 20th of September. Football game didn't go as we wanted to, but we had 444 kids that came to our homecoming dance from 8:30 to 10:30. I know that because I have a breathalyzer that records every single person, not their names, but just by number, how many that I've tested. So I do breathalyze every single kid that walks in the door. It's a passive one. Basically, if they have any amount of alcohol on them, I refer them to our officer and he takes care of the rest. So they can't have any, obviously. The kids stayed from 8:30 to 10:30, which is kind of surprising, which they usually don't, but maybe it was because we have a photo booth. That was kind of fun for the kids to do that. So that was cool. Our 10th graders are going to the Career Expo next Wednesday. It's at the Alaris. Thousands of their students from around the area are going to that. We usually go in the afternoon, but because of our early out, we go in the morning next Wednesday. So that'll be good. Our STEAM group that is being taught by Stacy Bach is going to go on the 24th, which to something called Space Connects, which is connecting space exploration and agriculture. I'm not sure how that actually works, but they're going to figure that out. So, yeah, I was kind of intrigued by that as well. So,
where's that?
That is at UND at the Union, Memorial Union.
Memorial.
Yeah. So, basically in the morning, 9 to 12, something like that. And let's see what else we got going on. A lot of extracurricular stuff. Boys soccer lost in the first round of the playoffs, but their consolation prize, I guess, if you will, if there is any, the team that they lost to is playing for the section championship tomorrow. So obviously that was a pretty good game. Girls soccer does play in the section championships tomorrow against Cathedral. That's a 7:30 game in Sauk Center. Football has their last home game Wednesday versus Detroit Lakes. Playoffs are next Tuesday after that. Volleyball has their last home game tomorrow at home versus Bemidji, and they start playoffs the week after. Girls tennis, we had one girl that just about made it to state. She lost in the true team or true second singles match, Ruby Leach, so she played well, but then lost in that true second. And cross country's last meet is today, and they start sections, they have their section meet, I think it's next week, sometime next Thursday. Yeah, so lots of stuff there. The big thing that happened, some of you are familiar probably with the YST grant. We applied and got for the YST grant 2 years ago. We got 100 grand over 2 years. It's Stephanie Larson's kind of heading. We found out last spring that we were not selected to get that. The only people that got that were the first round, or had only been there for the first round of YST grants. They didn't give it to a second term. For whatever reason, somebody didn't want their $100,000, so they asked us if we wanted 80, and we said absolutely. So we are in for a second round, so we get $80,000 over the next 2 years to help us with business partnerships and things like that. So that's kind of very good news. So yeah, we'll use that very well. So that's it. That's all I got. So questions for me?
Thank you.
Okay.
Great. We have Safe Kids next.
All right, there we go. My name's Tina Sanders, and I'm the pedestrian and wheeled sports coordinator for Safe Kids Grand Forks. And I wanted to give you kind of a little bit of background about Safe Kids Grand Forks and the activities that we do within our region, and also highlight some of the things that we've been doing with South Point this fall due to the hawk signal and some of our observations with some challenging pedestrian situations. So very first of all, if you're not familiar with us, Safe Kids Grand Forks has been an active coalition since 1992. So we serve kind of a huge region. Our region is Northeast North Dakota, Northwest Minnesota, and we reach all the way up to the Canadian border. We have kind of a very vast area that we serve. We are based here in East Grand Forks, and we are under the Altru umbrella. So I'm an employee of Altru. Within our 32-year history, some of our activities that we've gotten to accomplish here in East Grand Forks include our annual Safety on Wheels helmet and bike education. We have our annual active transportation safety education. That's actually something that became mandated in the state of Minnesota for all students within the first 3 weeks of school to have active transportation education. So that includes pedestrian and bike education. So we have been doing for very many years safety around schools, which does cover those two topics, as well as motor vehicle and bus safety. We have done quite a bit of grant writing over our history, as well as program administration. Most recently, a lot of our programs have been through Safe Routes to School funding. We also were part of the grant writing for sidewalks on Bigland, as well as the hawk signal. We do safety patrol program training, and we also do some biennial walk audits. So we were really honored to have been asked by South Point, as well as the city of East Grand Forks, to assist in the safety around that hawk signal. And knowing that that is sort of a challenging intersection and having kind of this newer technology happening, we knew that we needed to kind of face that education from a lot of different fronts. So obviously we started with the students. Like Melissa mentioned, we were able to take every single class of students down to the hawk signal. We partnered with the SRO, Nick Gunderson, over there to educate the students about that, how to use the hawk. One of the things that we had observed is that either if students are crossing and not using the hawk, they're just kind of crossing without it. The ones that are using it occasionally get frustrated at the wait time for it to reset, and so they're crossing against the light. One of the things that one of the homeowners nearby noticed is that when the countdown happens, letting the folks that are in the crosswalk know that their time is about to be up, students that are still way back a block away on the sidewalk are seeing it as sort of a challenge to get across the street within the 15 seconds or whatever it happens to be. So we highlighted all of those issues and really talked to all the students about pedestrian safety in general, but also how to operate that hawk signal. Another thing that we were able to do is we actually created a little newsletter that we sent out to all the parents at the 2 schools affected. I actually have copies of these for everybody if you'd like them. It really highlights the observations that we made in the several days that we sat out there and kind of observed how that operation was happening. Some of the things that we saw included people speeding through the intersection, not obeying the hawk. And then some of the things that we felt were very, very challenging behaviors was some violations of the crosswalk. So not stopping at the limit line, but rather stopping within the crosswalk, forcing the students to either walk out into the roadway to cross or walk in between 2 cars to get to the other side of the street. The other thing that we have heard mentioned and have seen ourselves is drivers, you know, we live in Minnesota, so kind of Minnesota nice behavior, trying to wave the kids through. And the kids, we've told them obviously to wait for the hawk signal to give them the go ahead to cross. So the drivers are getting frustrated because they're trying to wave the kids through and the kids are, you know, not going. And so they're kind of, hey, go, you know, and so the students are really confused because a grown-up is telling them that it's safe to cross. However, with so many lanes of traffic, if somebody else coming the other direction is following the hawk signal, they may not notice that there's a student trying to cross. So we also have embarked through our walk to school day last Wednesday, a series called Wheeling and Walking Wednesdays, where we will have different community celebrities and fun activities and things like that over the course of 4 weeks, encouraging safe walking. So we'll have people down by the hawk signal assisting students in walking, kind of creating more awareness for the drivers and that sort of thing, which we will start next Wednesday, those 4 events. So above all else, those are kind of have been our observations. What we're really, really asking for is that you help us to amplify that signal and get that information out. Like I said, we cover a lot of schools, we're in a lot of areas. So we really rely on the community and the folks in, you know, some leadership positions to help us to get that information out. And that's why I'm providing this with you tonight. And just to kind of, if you have your own social media, you know, share what we're saying about it or let people know. And if you have the opportunity or the time, please observe at that intersection and kind of see what we're kind of contending with, to note that there are some really challenging behaviors. Obviously, kids are going to be kids and we have given them the information, but we're really relying on those drivers, those adult drivers, to recognize the challenges there and to change those behaviors so that we can see a lot safer situation for the kiddos. So take any questions.
Any questions from anyone?
I have one.
Mhm.
Is there a reason, so there, the lights are up on top, but why there's not like a block away, you have school crossing? Is there something that we could work with the city or whomever to get some other flashing lights up there?
That's a
It seems like I go that way every morning and take kids that way, and I watch those kids come across the road, but I also
Mhm.
watch semis and what have you go flying through there.
Yes.
So if there's some type of a precursor or something, I mean, everybody looks at their phones. You're not supposed to in Minnesota, but we know that they are. You can watch them go right through the intersection looking at their phones. So if there's something prior to that, is there any way that we can help as a board to try to get that done? And maybe it's not feasible, but it just seems
You
like,
know, I don't know if that's been suggested or as an opportunity. I've been in my position for 3 years, so I don't know what might have happened prior to that, knowing that getting the Hawk system up and running has taken a little bit of time to do that. But I think that's a great suggestion. It's one of those things that we have, like if we're thinking about the airport, we've got that kind of warning
Yep.
that, hey, the lights are gonna, so I understand exactly what you're describing, and I think it's a good idea. Let me obviously take it back to the folks that I work with.
Sure.
But yeah, I would love to explore any ways that we could make that a little safer for the kids.
Kevin, maybe in your discussions with the city folks too, and
Mhm.
maybe it's not even feasible, but it just seems like There may be something
Why not?
missing,
Right.
missing out there.
Right.
And it's whatever.
Right.
Blinking red, you can drive and.
Mhm. Well, and that's, that is one of the goals of us having, 4 weeks worth of, kind of events going on there, is drawing a little bit more attention to the fact that this is something that we're using for safety, drawing a little bit more attention for the drivers to the fact that this is a corridor for students, and we have hundreds of students that are, trying to get through here in one manner of transportation or another. So, anything that we can do to just kind of, highlight that, and of course, make it a lot safer for the kids.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
But I'm thinking of like Facebook wise or the webpage,
Mm.
people aren't gonna try to listen for 5 minutes. That would just quick highlight
We have that on our Facebook page. Absolutely, we do. We shared that just shortly before the school year started. So that's gonna be maybe, last week of August. Absolutely not. I absolutely encourage you to do so. If you wanted to drop me an email or for sure. Anything else? Okay, I appreciate your time. Thank you.
Appreciate it. Thank you. All right, 4.4, any committee reports?
Other than what I
Oh,
touched on for just updates.
okay, sounds good. So move on to 5.0, the consent agenda. I'll take a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented.
Second.
Okay, any questions or discussion? Anything pulled? All right, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Carried, motion carries. All right. Moving on to 6.0, opportunities for citizens to speak for items not on the agenda. Any, okay? 7.0 is to approve the agenda. So I'll take a motion to approve the agenda as presented.
I'll move.
A second.
Any questions or discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Okay, 8.0, motion of the school board supporting the Form A application to the MSHSL. I didn't say that very well, but Minnesota State High School League Foundation as presented and attached. It's a resolution, so we'll need a motion and then an approval and then a resolution and then a.
I'll make a motion.
Any questions or discussion? Okay.
I can't honestly speak. I know in the past there's like $750. That's what we'd got. I guess I assume it's the same across the board, but I honestly didn't ask.
Take roll, please. Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Motion carries. 6-0. Okay, 8.2 is to adopt the resolution of Form B for the Minnesota State High School League Foundation.
Second.
Any questions or discussion on Form B? Take roll. Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Motion carries 6-0. Okay, 8.3, the high school robotics coach.
Do you want me to explain a little bit
Yes,
before?
please.
Okay, so what, well, no, just to give the robotics coach, Nathan came and talked with Scott and I, it's probably been 3 weeks ago now, looking to lengthen the season, okay? It is, how do I want to say it? Supported by the high school league, but it's not a high school league event. And so he laid out, and again, I gave us a pamphlet kind of describing what a normal year looks like, or at least last year. And then into this year where they competed in August down at Mall of America, not saying that's always at the Mall of America, but that's when the new robot is released then and you can start building. And he has examples. There are places that start like we did mainly in October, the end of October or mid-October before. There's places that keep going like right in the summer and go on. So they have had kids, I'm just being honest, which is fine because it's not like high school league, like basketball, where once school starts, you can't have contact, so they've been working, and I can't speak completely to all years prior, but, this fall, working on their new first competition, I think is the end of October. And then they'll go mainly to mid-March. And then, of course, it could go longer, just like a lot of sports or activities, depend on if you get make it further. So anyway, he's looking to move it to, kind of registration in the fall, which is not, I don't think, an issue. So like also looking to extend the season, so to speak, which I don't think we have a challenge with, but on the other hand, is there any, compensation or anything that could go with it? So we asked for numbers and some different things. Middle school has, at least in the past, last year, 24, 25 kids, I think, were participating. Last year, and I'm just giving a history, in years past, there was a coordinator fee put in place. And I believe it was when we had a teacher teaching the class, which also helped build the robot years ago. That's not there now. But to try and entice that person to maybe keep coaching for a year or two, and it maybe worked or didn't. When that person left, that fee is that piece has stayed there. So what you paid, if you look in the handout, you had a coordinator fee and 2 coaching fees last year. Okay, so in looking at, how could we do something? I don't like the coordinator fee. I'm just being honest, because no one can really explain what it means, because a lot of coaches and different people, Josh was in doing some coordination this morning. Why doesn't basketball get the coordinator fee? It's not that the AD doesn't help them and work with them. So we looked at trying to look at a time commitment. If they're putting in 10 hours, minimum of 10 hours a week, okay, and going that long, where would it kind of equate? And for the most part, it looks like a head coach. Yeah, no one can explain exactly why football and all these others are what, cross country's in Group B and so on. So Scott and I looked at that and said, okay, time wise, it would be with that group. We get rid of the coordinator. There's no such thing anymore. And then we're looking at having 2 middle school coaches, assuming there's enough participation at the same level. And I just compared them on level 1, if you look at the handout. And it looks to be $1,000, what was it, $20 or something difference. And $1,290 difference. So that's where the history came from. Or if you want to now go to a motion, get it.
I guess I have one question, I guess. So if it's gonna be, so my understanding is it can be from like August to March.
Yeah.
Is that correct? Okay, so is there a separate registration fee? You know what I mean? Like, so for a kid, I would say, because like that long feels like it's a fall sport and then a winter sport.
You mean like?
You like, because well, soccer, so might get an activity fee. They have to pay soccer is August to October, and then they have to pay another fee for basketball for October to March. So are we saying that these kids, don't get me wrong, get one activity fee for 8 months? That seems like it's a really good deal, I guess. And if you're trying to offset costs for another coaching position or more money, then we should probably be putting that back on an activity fee.
The only challenge I guess we were looking at is, and again, how much time you put in to an activity,
Yep.
as a coach. I mean, 10 hours, basketball puts in more than 10 hours, at least in my calculation. And you might only practice an hour now, and I'm not saying they don't need it. We were looking at, when you spread it out though, they require 6 hours a week. And we did have some conversation. What about a kid that, just can't start in August? They can still participate. That's another piece of it that, we talked about. You got to be committed, but we also have to look at, we want kids in a variety of things, and sometimes they can be in robotics and be in basketball or football or whatever. So there has to be some accommodation there. But we were just looking, otherwise, I think if you start looking and say it is truly full bore 2 sports, should we be paying 2 salaries? I mean, completely 2 salaries instead of spread. So I mean, it's open to conversation.
School is the extended season, right? Not the middle school.
Yep, middle school is still going to run the similar type. And again, all coaches do above and beyond. So it's not, there's no way to say, when they're doing stuff in the summer, or if Nathan's helping with middle school, that's expected. Just like I'm sure you do some stuff with the lower coaches or levels from time to time. And so
Yeah.
I'm looking for a motion to, and again, I met with the union because the union negotiates these, and they, the lead negotiator was fine with what was proposed, and let's go for it. So I'm just looking to adjust from what we did last year. So there would be, like I say, there's no coordinator fee. It would be hiring the coach at the level we suggested, or I should say the head coach, and then 2 middle school, assuming numbers don't drop. If there only ended up being 5 middle schoolers, sorry, we only need 1 coach.
So for tonight, you're not looking for necessarily an answer on extending the season tonight because it's already October.
Well, like I say, they're doing it and we don't need, like I say, they're looking to can we in the future
Sure.
do that? But as far as the staffing, I mean, doesn't have to be tonight, but I mean, we're in season. I mean, I believe we've hired Nathan already. I don't know if could be wrong, hired both middle school or not. And they'll be starting, well, soon here.
So fee for the high school robotics position and 2 middle school robotics positions
And eliminate that.
and eliminate the coordinator fee for robotics.
Okay, yeah.
There you go,
Yeah.
that's my motion.
Was that good? Do you want us to repeat that?
It's in the notes, right? How they have it, yeah. Change it to the recommended.
Eliminate the robotics coordinator position.
Leave that as a
Where-
Create the head,
right there.
head coach in group 1,
Yeah,
and then the 2 middle school coaches in.
group 7.
Leave it as
Gotcha.
a-
Yeah.
So, adopt the recommended.
I don't know.
I'll second. Is there a second? Was it
Any
your-
questions or discussions as to the recommended structure of the robotics coaching?
And we don't need a roll call on that.
No.
It just,
Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Okay, donations to the school district. Need a motion to accept donations to the school district in the amount of $42,465. You want to read them out?
Sure, I will. I'll make a motion to accept the following donations. Donation from the Music Boosters for music in the amount of $8,465. A donation from Dr. Gander and Rosalind Gander to the senior high for band and choir in the amount of $1,000. From Dr. Gander and Rosalind to the senior high for girls tennis for $500. Dr. Gander and Rosalind again to the senior high for boys tennis for $500. Dr. Gander and Rosalind to the senior high for football for $1,000. And a donation from the East Grand Forks Booster Club to the East Grand Forks Athletics for general athletics in the amount of $31,000. Total donations tonight, $42,465.
I'll second that motion. Any questions or discussion on the donations? Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. 9.0, payment of claims and accounts.
I will move to approve the payment of K-12 bills numbers 127851 through 128063 and EFTs in the amount of $1,497,336.74.
I'll second.
Any questions or discussion?
I had one question, Kevin. There was a payment to Brainerd School District for student services for like $11,000. Do you know what that?
the only thing I can guess is for educational, like a kid. I mean, they get expensive. And I don't, Nancy, if you know or not, you deal with a lot.
That's what I figured. I just wanted.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be mine, because every time I've asked, it's been for students that are supposed to be in our district
Yeah.
that are somewhere else for the
Yeah.
time being.
Just transferring of funds that we received,
Yeah.
right?
Any other questions or discussion? Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Okay, 10.0, board member comments. Eric, I'll start with you.
Nothing tonight.
Just thank you to everyone that donated and good luck to fall sports that are still out there.
Same.
Same.
Yep.
Amanda?
I have none tonight.
Okay, Brendan? Okay, I don't have anything that hasn't been said. But thank you to everyone since we're now in the go of the school year, so. 11.0 is the next meeting of Board of Education is scheduled for October 28th, 2024 at 5:30. We are also going to have a superintendent evaluation working session now, so just like the last board meeting, we'll take a motion for a recess and then we'll have, the video doesn't have to keep going. It's just a working session to determine those criteria. Shouldn't be very long tonight, and then Yeah, so I'll need a motion for recess.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
Any questions or discussion about the recess? All right, we'll recess for